morning. I'm here with Susan Springsteen, who is president of H2O Connected. You know, when we look at what H2O Connected is doing, I'm just very excited to have this conversation with you. Certainly we've known each other for a little over a year, and your company has made huge progress and a big impact. So why don't you start off by giving me just a little bit of background on H2O Connected?
Well, it actually all started years ago when Eric Canfield and I co-founded End Solutions, which is a product development, manufacturing, and business incubation company. And one of the reasons I wanted to get involved with co-founding the company was Eric was working on a technology, this was back in 2006, that could detect toilet overflows. And it was a big issue. There wasn't a solution. His daughters were overflowing their toilet several times a week. He wanted to solve the problem, and he's a genius when it comes to product development. So I've always thought, and had for a long time, I was in the investment business at the time, and thought that water someday would be a big idea, that water would be like the new oil. It would actually be monetized instead of just being an inalienable right. And I was trying to figure out how to kind of get in on that early. And so we ended up starting this company, developing the water technology side of the business, and eventually really brought out, we decided it was going to be so expensive with tooling to bring out the overflow detector. So we decided to focus on toilet leaks, and that's a big issue. There are 350 million tank toilets between just the US and Canada, and they will all leak, run, and overflow. So that is my kind of market.
Oh, gosh.
And we like being involved in products that also have a higher impact. They save lives, save money, or preserve natural resources. And this is at End Solutions. So focused on the water technology, brought out a product for the home that could hang on a toilet, install in seconds, and every time someone flushed their toilet, it would tell them if it was functioning properly or leaking or going to run through a red light, green light system. And then that was so popular that we got a lot of requests from property management and hospitality to have a wireless version. So several years ago, back in 2018, we started looking at the costs of developing wireless, both in development and production, were coming down. IoT products were gaining acceptance in the mainstream. The droughts were increasing. You know, the need for water conservation was really becoming a hot topic. So we decided to spin off the water tech division into a different separate company called H2O Connected, and develop a wireless version for property management and multi-tenant and hospitality businesses. And so that's the backstory.
So, we have all had a leaky toilet. So, a leaky toilet in a home, on average, how much water is going to be wasted?
Well, leaking toilets can be anywhere from 50 to a couple of 100 gallons a day. But that is a problem in its own right if it goes on for weeks or months or years. Yeah. A lot of people can't hear the signs of a leaking toilet, or they don't understand what they are. They think it's just water in the line. Yeah. But the real elephant in the room is the running toilet when a chain hangs up. Because our technology not only can identify these various types of wasting water anomalies, but we can also quantify how much water is being wasted from a running toilet or a leaking toilet or an overflowing toilet. We've been able to clock running toilets at 4.5 to 5.5 gallons per minute. So that's over 7,000 gallons a day. So if you can imagine somebody, uses the toilet before they get in a car to go on vacation for a week, they slap the handle, the chain hangs up, and it runs while they're on vacation, their water bill is going to be in the thousands.
Yes.
And so that's really the elephant in the room.
So as president of the company, what motivates you every day? What gets you up and going? You're always so vibrant and excited about the company. So what gets you up and gets you going every day?
Well, I think it's a combination. One, it's a calling for me. So it's not a career, it's a calling. So to me, I feel like this company brings together skill sets and abilities that I've developed over really a a 30 plus career in between
Mhm.
investment banking, corporate finance, business in general. And
Mhm.
so and then I combine that with, the impact you can have on your employees. And then we're located in a qualified opportunity zone, which
Right.
is, we're a qualified opportunity zone business, which means we're located in a low income, high poverty area. So being able to have that kind of impact on a community that is looking for jobs that are scalable, jobs that have advancement potential. And
Mhm.
because this is a made in America product, it's made right here in Coatesville, it's sort of, it's sort of the impact on the community employees, and then the impact of being able to save water, right? Only 1% of the world's water supply is available for potable use. So it's something that we really have to be a wise steward of water. And there is really no other option for knowing when you're accurately and reliably when your toilets are leaking and how much, and until our product came along. So it's really a mission and a calling.
So ask another question. So when you talk to somebody, maybe it's a multi-unit property management, do the lights go off when you're talking to them right away, thinking about how much they're wasting or how much they could save?
It depends on if they've had an issue, if they've
Mhm.
watched their water bill spike and they know it wasn't when they were filling the swimming pool, then
Yeah.
then yes, it does. But we can show them through our technology, the kinds of water savings that we're doing for other clients. I can tell you, there's a wow factor when people see the dashboard and when people realize just how much they can save on their water bill. It can be 20-30%. Some people are spending more money on their toilet leaks than they are on the rest of their intended water use in the
Mhm.
building.
Makes sense.
So it's really, and for a property owner, if they can increase their net operating income, it not only flows money to the bottom line, but it increases the value of their building because of how buildings are valued, right? So
Right.
it's really a double plus for, multi-tenant and hospitality property owners.
Definitely see. So give us a real life example of a user who has used the product and what kind of experience they've had.
I can tell you there's a hotel that's nearby that they had room 431.
Let me write that down.
We have favorite rooms. But I can remember they got their first running toilet. The alert went off and told them that room 431 toilet was running. Evidently, housekeeping, the room was vacant. Housekeeping had just finished cleaning the room. The last thing they do before they leave the room is flush the toilet. And housekeeping generally now, they all wear earbuds and they're listening to music. So even if she had recognized what was going on, she wouldn't have heard it. Left the room, and that was leaking at over 5 gallons per minute.
Wow.
And so they were able to go in and fix it. They did not rent that room for 4 days. So that toilet would have continued to run. Nobody was in the room that long. They would have wasted 28,000 gallons of water, and that one incident would have cost them over $300.
Amazing.
So one incident, and running toilets are typically repeat offenders. So if a toilet, the chain hangs up, or there's an issue, there's a reason it's running. And so it'll tend to run that problem, even if someone fixes, jiggles the handle and it stops running and the flapper reseats, it's going to have the same problem over and over again.
So do I have to call a plumber, buy it from you? So how do I buy it online, and then do I call a plumber to install it, or?
No, that's the beauty of it. For the non-wireless version, you can get it on Amazon or on leakalerter.com.
Okay.
It literally, you raise a toilet lid, you hang it on your toilet, you pull the battery tab, put the lid back on, you're done.
Really?
It does the rest. It's fully automatic. For the multi-tenant wireless system, those folks need to call us because we will set up the system specifically for the layout of their building.
Okay.
And then we ship the product asleep but working. So all that their maintenance, this has been designed not to take a lot of maintenance time, because we don't want to save save money on the water bill, but then increase their maintenance costs.
Right.
So all the maintenance has to do is install the gateway, which takes a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and then lift the tank of the toilet in each of the rooms, hang the device on the back wall of the toilet, put the lid down, it's done. It wakes up automatically when it senses water. It sends a signal to the gateway to connect, and it starts sending signals. And then when it senses a problem, it will send, if it's a severe problem, a call priority event like a running toilet or an overflow, it'll send a text message to maintenance and tell them what room, how much, and then there's a dashboard that'll give them the usage they're using through flushes, so they can see if their flush volumes are accurate. And then also what kind of leaks, when it started, how many gallons per day, what the total water waste is, where it's located, so they can effectively manage the water use in their toilets.
So you ship it ready to go.
We ship it ready to go, right? And the battery lasts over 5 years, so it's warranted over 5 years. It's made in America.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, we've been doing some of the installs to start so that we can really make sure that we've hit everyone's hot buttons, and we've just had great feedback on the product. When it works, it's a wow. People are just like, wow, this is really cool.
So talking about wows, give me 1 or 2 pleasant surprises you've had as president of the company.
I would say the wow factor that others are experiencing is definitely a pleasant surprise. We deal with this every day, so we're just used to it being phenomenal and working. But when people haven't seen it before, when they see it at work and they see the dashboard, and I think the other wow factor is how much water is being wasted through toilets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are people we have customers who've literally been able to save water day one because they installed low flow toilets, but the fill valves were set for it to fill at a high flow rate. So they have a low flow toilet, but it's flushing at 3 gallons a minute. And so we tell them that, and they can readjust the fill valves, and they're saving water day one. So, and then, we have folks we expect a positive ROI on this in less than 6 months. In what we're seeing that, I think it's the EPA and the American Water Works who says 20% of all toilets are leaking at any one time. We're seeing much higher versions of that, even in, for instance, in hotels where they've replaced the toilet, how they replace the toilets every couple of years or every so often. Even new toilets are leaking, or their chains hang up because of just the way they're designed. So it's really, that's been a huge wow, is how much water is wasted in toilets.
And 20% of 350 million is a big number.
It's a big number. If you can imagine how much water that would save if everyone would just use a leak alerter.
Right, and conservation, part of our conservation effort would be solved. So, you've established a relationship with Global Waterworks. There's plenty of organizations out in water. Why Global Waterworks? How does that work for you?
Well, I think a couple of reasons. One, your enthusiasm and Mary's enthusiasm for saving water is infectious. So the other thing is that it truly is a global community, and it's a global community of such a broad range of people that are we're all rowing in the same direction. We're trying to solve the water crisis. So you have technology startups from all over the world that are trying to approach this problem from a high-tech standpoint. Then you've also got utilities, and you've got people who service utilities. So I feel like we can all learn from each other. So there's an old world, old tech, new world sort of fabric to Global Waterworks. I think a lot of the other water organizations or entities seem to be more specific, and I just think it's much more effective if we can learn from each other. And so I see that as a big plus.
And we agree. So back to H2O Connected, as you look out 12 to 18 months, how do you think of the company as you project out into the future?
Well, I mean, it's our ultimate goal, which will take us longer than 18 months, is really to be a global brand, a global dominant brand in toilet leak detection. Yeah. So the technology was designed to be used all over the world. So we can hook into GSM in 500 carriers anywhere in the world. So it's, and our back end is very robust. So it's really, so it can handle incredible amounts of data. the other thing is we own the data. We're the only ones that will have this data. So there is a possibility to, we can monetize that at some point.
Wow,
So
yes.
that will be down the road. But I think initially it's getting the word out and scaling production and, just being able to hit those targets of numbers of installs, focusing on multi-tenant and hospitality.
So as we spoke before we got on the Zoom, it sounds like you've been doing a lot of work to prepare the company to scale.
We are. That's where we are right now. We've done that already in the homeowner version, which is the Leak Alerter 6000. But for the Leak Alerter Pro, we've done a number of our installs, and now we're scaling. We're getting so much interest. Because in property management, they all know each other. And if you install it in one building, they've got 30 or 40 or 100 other buildings that they manage. So they just want to start rolling it out. So that the scale happens quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's now, it's now setting processes up and automating, and so that we will be able to meet demand, especially when we start to add, we've gotten a lot of interest from Europe because they're far ahead of us in the water conservation department. So especially as we added a international overlay, our quality control is very rigorous. Everything gets tested before it goes out the door. So it's, we want to be able to scale, but keep that same quality assurance.
Well, Susan, this has been a pleasure. It's been is actually more exciting than I had expected when I was thinking about meeting with you. It's always great to talk with you, and this is a great story. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about H2O Connected. I'm really